Over 1,000 people swear they've seen a thylacine after extinction. Most sightings are easy to dismiss, but these 6 videos, they're not. We ranked them from interesting to almost impossible to explain. Sighting number 6. In this clip, the person actually slows down the footage multiple times, so we get a really close look. The clip was recorded in Adelaide in South Australia. A dog-like creature moves through the bushes. Here's what makes this interesting. 5 people reportedly spotted Tasmanian tigers in this exact location back in March 2015. This footage, it showed up a year later, in 2016. Let's watch. The camera pans up through the trees. There it is. It zooms in, revealing a creature stepping out from behind a house. Dark-colored body, long, straight tail. That tail is honestly fascinating. The animal is lurking near some trash cans, which tells us something important we'll get to in a moment. Looking closer, there's some dark coloring on the body that could be stripes. Could be. This is a captivating piece of footage. Let's break down the pros versus the cons. On the con side, it's near a house, in someone's backyard, on mainland Australia, which is far less likely than Tasmania for a thylacine sighting. It's hanging around trash cans. If you've ever been to the UK, you know foxes do exactly that, digging through garbage in people's yards. Now for the pros. Beyond the possible stripes, beyond the overall shape, there's a very distinct hock. That's the joint on the back leg, sort of like a human ankle. When you zoom in, that hock doesn't look like a fox at all. It looks more like a thylacine. That's probably why so many people latched onto this clip. There's also the tail. Long, stiff, pointed, typical of a marsupial like a kangaroo, or of course a thylacine. But here's the real detail that separates it from a fox. Where the tail meets the body, it's thick, wide. That's a marsupial trait. Still, my honest take, probably some kind of feral dog. I want to believe, I really do. But the location, the behavior, the trash cans, it all points away from thylacine. Cool sighting though. I totally get why people got excited. It's just not screaming thylacine to me. Sighting number 5. This is one of the most famous thylacine sightings ever caught on camera. It was filmed in 2008 in southwestern Victoria by a woman who later shared it with THYLACINE, the Thylacine Awareness Group of Australia. Here's what makes the backstory wild. This woman didn't just see the animal once. She said she spotted it at least 12 times. She even used binoculars to get a closer look. She said she could clearly see stripes on its back end. Her exact words? The creature had a prehistoric head. That's not something you forget. So she went out, bought a camcorder, came back to the same spot, and filmed what we're about to break down. It gets weirder. She said she saw pups with the mother on other visits.
I probably went out there over a period of, I'd say, 12 months. On one occasion, I saw I'm assuming a female with 2 pups.
She also said she once saw a fox standing right next to this same animal. Side by side, she says she knows the difference between the two because she watched them together. Now that's a strange detail. Why would a thylacine just hang around a fox in the Australian bush? But at the same time, seeing both animals together could actually help her case, or hurt it. It depends on how you look at it. It works both ways. The grainy footage we're about to see was filmed at dusk, about 660 feet from the animal. The camera was zoomed in all the way, so keep that in mind. The quality is hurt by distance, low light, and the camera itself. Before we dig into the details, let's give the video a fair watch first. First part of the video, you can see the shape of the animal, but there's almost no color. The dusk light mixed with full zoom washes everything out. What stands out though is the walk. The creature moves from left to right with a very clear stride. It doesn't seem scared at all. It strolls across, pauses, stops, totally calm. Here's what grabs your eye, that stiff tail. Thylacines were known for a rigid tail that barely moved, almost like it was part of their spine. This animal seems to have exactly that. But when you pause the footage from the side, the tail looks pretty thin. It doesn't have the thick, heavy build of a kangaroo tail, the kind most marsupials use for balance. That's a small detail, but it matters. Watching the first 30 seconds or so, I'll be honest, I was leaning toward thylacine. The shape, the movement, the way it held its body, it all seemed to match. But around the 40-second mark, something changes. The animal lifts its head, picks up speed. Right there, you can see a very familiar motion, that bouncy, leaping hop. Short bursts through the grass. If you've ever watched a fox move through an open field in a nature documentary, you'll spot it right away. That kind of movement doesn't fit thylacine bodies. They weren't built to move like that. Thylacines had a stiffer walk. Their whole foot would press flat on the ground as they stepped. There's one more thing. To me, this is the biggest clue. As the animal hops away, watch its front right leg. It's clearly leaning to the left side. That right front paw stays lifted. It's barely touching the ground. This animal is hurt. It's putting all its weight on one side, using that left leg for almost all of its movement. Why does that matter? Because a hurt, patchy-furred fox acts exactly like this. Mange strips away fur, changes the body shape. A hurt fox hops in odd ways, looks strange. Its ears, though, still look too big, more fox-like than thylacine. Look, I truly want to be wrong here. If someone could prove this is a real thylacine, it would be one of the greatest animal discoveries in modern history. The last known thylacine died in 1936 at the Hobart Zoo. Finding one alive would change everything, but without clear, rock-solid proof, footage like this, no matter how exciting, can't hold up under close study. It ends up in the interesting but not proven pile, where so many other thylacine sightings have landed over the years. My honest take? When you study the hunched body, the sniffing, that bouncy hop through the grass, the way it guards its hurt leg, this looks like a fox in bad shape. An animal moving through the bush out of pain, not mystery. It's a sad conclusion, because the footage really does tease you with hope. But hope alone isn't proof. Sighting number 4. This one is strange, cryptic, almost too good for a split second. Nobody knows where this clip was filmed. The Herald Sun, an Australian news outlet, dropped it in 2017 inside an article about thylacine genetics. No credit, no context, no explanation, just a mystery clip sitting at the top of the page. So before I break it down, let's watch. Right there, a large striped animal moves left to right, clear as day. Orange body, dark stripes, pointed ears. Unlike every blurry clip we've covered so far, this one is sharp. You can actually see the colors. Orange fur with black bands running across the body. It looks exactly like a thylacine. Your heart stops for a moment, because it really, truly could be one. But here's where everything falls apart. Who films a fraction of a second when they're holding what could be the most important wildlife footage in history? Where did this animal come from? Where does it go after crossing the frame? Why is there no photographer credit? Why is the filming location a total mystery? These questions pile up fast, with zero answers. The hard truth? This is almost certainly a dog that someone painted to resemble a thylacine. The stripes begin right at the neck, but on a real thylacine, they start halfway down the back. That detail alone gives it away. Someone likely painted a dog to look like a tiger roaming the wild, or tried to pass it off as a thylacine. Whoever did this robbed people of real hope, because that first moment of watching, it's electric. Your brain screams, "This is it!" But the second you sit with the footage, the red flags stack too high, too short, too clean, too convenient, yet too empty on every detail that matters. I still remember the day this clip surfaced. For about 5 seconds, it felt like the discovery of a lifetime. But reality hit just as fast. This was someone's cruel little prank, designed to spark exactly that reaction. Pure nonsense, nothing more. Sighting number 3. This one stuck with me. When I first saw it, something clicked. It felt different. I'm still holding on to hope that this footage could be real. A group called the Booth-Richardson Tiger Team, BRTT, put out clips they think show a living thylacine. The team has 3 members, Greg Booth, his father George, and Adrian Richardson, a researcher who spent over 26 years searching for this animal. Greg's obsession started in 2015. He says he came face to face with a thylacine just 8 feet away on a bush trail. That moment pushed the team to set up 14 trail cameras deep in the wild near Medina, about 50 kilometers southwest of Hobart, Tasmania. Now here's why that spot matters. We're back in Tasmania. To me, this island still has the best chance of hiding surviving thylacines, more than mainland Australia, maybe slightly less likely than the deep jungles of western Papua New Guinea. But Tasmania? It feels right. So let's look at what they caught. There are 2 clips. The first one shows something pressed right up against the camera, a blurry snout bumping the lens. It's way too close to see anything useful. It could be a dozen different animals. It could even be a fallen leaf drifting past. Probably not. It does look alive, but nothing here screams thylacine. This one's a toss. Let's move on. The second clip, that's the one that makes your heart race. A wide shot. In the distance, an animal moves across the frame with a smooth, steady walk. The body shape looks right. The tail looks right. The way it carries itself feels right. The team blacked out the area around it to highlight the creature, so you can really focus on how it moves. There's something strange about this animal, something that doesn't match the usual suspects. The BRTT team fully believes this is a thylacine, no doubt in their minds. But not everyone agrees. Several experts gave their take, including Nick Mooney, a wildlife expert who has studied thylacine sightings for decades. Nick watched the footage himself. His call? About a 20% chance it's a thylacine. He thinks it's far more likely a spotted-tailed quoll, a small, cat-sized predator that still roams the Tasmanian bush. When you watch the footage again with that in mind, it starts to click. Compare the animal's size to the trees around it, the moss, the ground cover. It really does look closer to quoll-sized than thylacine-sized. The body just doesn't quite add up for a full-grown thylacine. I respect this footage deeply. The BRTT team put real work into this. 14 cameras, months of waiting, countless hours in the wild. It feels so close, painfully close. But the footage is grainy. The distance is too far. The image too blurry. It's the same curse that haunts every strong sighting, just not clear enough to prove anything. Nick Mooney knows this land better than almost anyone alive. So if he leans towards spotted-tailed quoll, I have to lean that way too. Still, part of me refuses to fully let go. Sighting number 2, August 2022. Jessie Mild was hiking with her son and sister Emma Borges through Belair National Park in the Adelaide Hills, South Australia. A creature moved across their path with a weird, lolloping gait. It didn't look like a kangaroo or a dog. Emma was convinced it was a thylacine. Locals on the Blackwood Community Facebook page had already been posting about bizarre animal sightings in this same park. So here's the creature. A wide green clearing surrounded by scattered trees. Jessie filmed it herself. The trees are spread out enough for a clear line of sight, but like almost every clip of a supposedly extinct animal, grainy, far away. Still, there's something unusual. That stretched out body, rear legs angled backward, what appears to be a stiff, rigid tail. All of it makes your brain jump straight to thylacine. Now the woman makes a sound to grab its attention. The animal lifts its head. Look at the ears. Thylacines have small, rounded ears set high on the head. Foxes carry tall, pointed, triangular ears. What I'm seeing here looks a lot more fox than thylacine. The animal glances over, drops its head, then darts off into the bush. Short clip. But here's the bigger issue. Red foxes were brought to Australia by European settlers in the 1800s. They're everywhere on the mainland. So here's where I land. The thin tail, the low hang, the odd gait, worth noticing. But the ears break it for me. And there's a detail most people overlook. Mange. Foxes with mange lose their thick coat, especially on the tail. It shrinks to something thin, bald, almost rat-like. Their body looks stretched out, bony. They develop a strange posture. Worst of all, they lose their fear of humans. A healthy fox hides. A sick one stands in broad daylight, barely reacting. Exactly what we see here. I believe what Jessie Mild filmed was likely a red fox with mange. The large pointed ears, odd posture, daylight boldness, it all points one direction. Not thylacine. Sick fox. Does that mean we should stop looking? No, but I'm not getting thylacine on this one. Sighting number 1. This might be the strongest sighting ever recorded. Shot on 8mm film back in 1973. Old footage, yes, but it's been remastered. So let's take a closer look. Here's why this one stands out. Nobody has been able to fully debunk it, not a single expert. Researchers have noted that thylacines survived in South Australia's Flinders Ranges until at least 1830, possibly even 1850. A wave of sightings flooded this same region throughout the late 1960s into the 1970s, right as forests were being cleared for farming. Gary and Liz Doyle, a young couple camping in a caravan at Wilpena Pound, captured this footage during that exact window. So let's watch it. I'll break it down after. Look at that. Now you see why this one hits different. Watch the way that creature moves. The gait is smooth, athletic. The ears sit small on the head. The tail stays rigid while it runs. No bounce, no curl. This isn't some limping, sick fox dragging itself across a field. This animal looks healthy, fast, powerful. Analyst Chris Rayberg studied the enhanced footage frame by frame. He found the body proportions, the hind foot size, tail posture, the curve of the spine, all lined up with known thylacine features. That's not proof, but it's hard to ignore. Here's the frustrating part though. It's still just 10 seconds. 10 grainy seconds from 1973 that the Doyles happened to catch from their caravan window. You watch this animal sprint across a road in mainland Australia. It looks incredible. It truly does. But 10 seconds can't settle a mystery this big. Every expert who sees this footage walks away asking the same question. Was that some odd-looking dog? A strange fox with an unusual build? Or did someone actually capture a thylacine on film thousands of years after the species vanished from mainland Australia? The answer is locked inside those 10 seconds. We may never crack it open unless someone finds one alive. Or maybe the team at Colossal Biosciences brings one back from extinction. So those were 6 of the best thylacine sighting videos. What's your take? Do any of these convince you? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.